Look at this small house without a door. There was actually a person lying inside, naked. A naked female corpse suddenly appeared in the abandoned house in the wilderness. There were as many as 5 suspects. None of them was simple. The murderer dared to commit crimes in broad daylight. You can't imagine how many twists in this case. The incident occurred in Hebei province in 2014. That morning, a man who had had loose bowels hurriedly came to the wilderness to do a number 2. Suddenly, he found a completely naked female body in this small room and immediately called the police. The police immediately rushed to the scene, and the scene even made the forensic staff gasp in horror.
这尸体是裸露的，然后这个双脚是岔开的，下身没穿衣服。
After preliminary on-site investigation, the deceased was a female, aged between 20 and 40 years old. In addition, police also found the girl's shoes and a brick nearby, inferring that the deceased may have been hit to death. The deceased was completely naked, indicating a high possibility of being violated before death. The location of this small house was very remote, and based on the traces of the crime at the scene, the police inferred that this small house was the first scene of the crime. After conducting a more detailed investigation of the scene, police discovered a large amount of pine pollen at the scene. In addition, items such as a water bottle, bank card, watch, and notebook were on the ground. Most importantly, the police also discovered a fresh cigarette end at the scene, so they immediately performed a DNA comparison on the cigarette, but the results were disappointing. If you watch crime case videos a lot, you probably know that in a murder case like this, the first step is to determine the source of the corpse. The police immediately reorganized the items left at the scene, and the notebook caught their attention.
这个人名呢，当我们这个民警看了这个笔记本这个人名呢，马上想到了咱们这个19号，这个上我们中队来这个登记失踪的这个死者的弟弟提供说他姐姐的名字，正好跟他这个笔记本上登记的名字正好十分吻合。
The deceased's name was Tian Erning, aged 24 years old, and he worked as a saleswoman in a company. Before the incident, Tian told her colleague that she was going to meet with a friend who planned to join her sales team, but this person requested to talk this in person. In this way, Tian went to Tangli town. The police immediately investigated surrounding surveillance. At around 14 o'clock on that day, the police discovered Tian's figure in surveillance. However, what puzzled the police was that there were no people or vehicles approaching Tian. However, Tian walked about a few meters west and suddenly turned back. It was obvious that she was connecting with the suspect through her phone. After about half an hour, Tian disappeared completely from surveillance. During this period, Tian's colleague had called Tian, but her voice appeared very urgent, and then her phone was shut off. So what did Tian encounter before her death? The police inferred that after Tian got off the car, the suspect must be somewhere near her. So the police decided to divide into 2 teams to search for clues. One team conducted a comprehensive investigation of the surveillance in the area, and the other conducted a visit and investigation of all single men in the vicinity of the crime. However, after investigation one by one, no single man around this area was suspected. Then the police compared the cigarette end DNA with all single men in this area, but still did not find any match. The case was stuck for a while, and at this moment, the man who had discovered the body came to the police station again to report that several men had barbecued in this small house a few days ago before the body was found. They were laughing and talking dirty. So he seriously suspected these men. Now, the top priority was to find those men. But the police vaguely felt something was not right. Why didn't he say it the first time he talked to the police, but instead said it at this time? The police immediately conducted a DNA comparison on this man, and the result was that his DNA matched perfectly with the DNA of the cigarette end left at the scene. The police immediately went to the man's home to investigate, and unexpectedly discovered a more astonishing secret.
案发后，他把他的微信记录全删了，手机给了别人。
Was he doing this to hide something? The police could only take him as a key observation person. A month had passed since the incident, and the police had investigated batches of men, but there was still no progress. The police could only carefully check the surveillance again. Suddenly, a man lingered for a long time at the location where Tian got off the car, and his behavior caught the attention of the police. However, the on-site monitoring was very vague, making it difficult to find the man. However, the man who discovered the body once again brought good news to the police, stating that he had found 3 barbecue men. According to the confessions of the 3 men, they did have barbecue in the room before and had invited the reporter to have barbecue together, but they had no idea about the case, and the police could only take them as key observation people too. However, one of them claimed that he knew the man in the surveillance. The man's name was Chang Quock, who lived near the crime scene, so the police immediately went to Chang's house. However, Chang denied that he had killed Tian. The police immediately compared the DNA, and the test results showed that his DNA was consistent with the DNA extracted from the victim. In front of the evidence, Chang confessed to his criminal facts finally. So, why did Chang kill such a beautiful young girl? Originally, Chang and Tian didn't know each other, but Tian met Chang because of work. Chang saw Tian was so beautiful, and he had bad ideas on her. So Chang asked Tian to the small house for the reason of the work. Due to Tian grew up in remote rural areas since childhood, she had no doubts about such a remote path. After arriving at the house, Chang wanted to have sex with Tian, but was rejected by Tian. In a fit of anger, Chang brutally killed her,